Simulated warfare, grand new ages with meaning, and empires to build. That's right, I've played one of the most interesting strategy games of the year, even though it's still just February. This is Millennia, an ambitious and different 4X strategy game that sets out to redefine the genre. Millennia is coming to Steam Next Fest on February 5th, and for that occasion I'm collaborating with Paradox Interactive to show you what the game is all about already now. Now you might just think that everything's been done in the 4X space, but Millennia is living proof that a little game of civilization building isn't and shouldn't be the end-all be-all of this genre. You see, whether we're trying to improve our empires and cultivate our lands, or just rule the world by force, Millennia offers a very special twist on things that in many cases, I didn't really know I was missing. But as it turns out, are changes that across the board makes this game that much more fun to play. At the same time, Millennia is not difficult to approach at all. As in other 4X games, you get to set up the game world the way you like to a certain extent, but one of the most important decisions you'll make is which faction you play as. Actually, scratch that. You can choose a starting bonus for your nation, but except for that, every civilization begins the game the same way, as equally weak tribes. This means that for the vast majority of the game, even though a starting buff can be important indeed, your experience in Millennia is entirely dependent on how you play and manage your way through the game. Every civ begins as a tribal nation back in the very early BCs, but that doesn't mean we're taking things slow. I think my favorite thing about Millennia is how many mechanics we come to deal with here, and more than that, is how developers C Prompt Games actually follows in the tried and true footsteps of Paradox, by having you focus on all of these different mechanics and numbers at once. The most important and game-defining of these are the game's ages. Ages decide what kind of innovations are available to you, kind of sectioning up the game into distinct eras of history, and giving you alternatives to what part of society you wish to focus on at any given time. But what's even more important is that these ages, and the branches within them, steer your civilization in unique directions. We begin in the Age of Stone, but to unlock the next one, namely the Age of Bronze, we must first unlock 3 research groups within our current age. It's possible to unlock all of them before you move on, but you need at least 3 to do so. And each age brings something special to the table, allowing you to rapidly cultivate your lands or your military, become the world's production house or food basket, and in this way either live up to your nation's actual history or take the world in a more alternative route. Now, ages in themselves is a familiar concept from other games, but what's not, and what really tosses a wrench into the system, is the concept of divergent or variant ages. For while we move from the Age of Stone to the Age of Bronze, and the natural progression after this would be the Age of Iron, there are in fact 2 more options on the table this time around, namely the Age of Heroes and the Age of Blood, known as a Variant Age and a Crisis Age respectively. Now the kicker is that both of these will open up new technologies and paths for every nation in the game at the same time. And what's more is that the first faction to reach either age determines it for everyone. In my game, for example, I almost entered the Age of Blood, which focuses on incessant warfare and automatically forces every nation to declare war with every other nation during this age, because I had destroyed 5 enemy units from a different major civilization in the Age of Bronze out of 6. Now this would be a major crisis for sure, but even though it can be viewed as a major negative shakeup, it doesn't necessarily have to be for you. Thing is, if you are a military-focused nation, an Age of Blood might benefit you in the short and even long term, since you might have the natural upper hand over the other nations who might have focused on dainty things like agriculture and industrialization. In this way, not only do the different branches of research allow you to tailor your state, but the ages themselves bring about major gameplay changes that change in every playthrough, and virtually never makes 2 games exactly the same. That's not everything though. To specialize your culture even further, Millennia offers various so-called national spirits and types of governments. Every second age, meaning we'll only get to see one of these spirits in the demo, will see your nation being offered a choice of national spirit, a civilization-defining tradition if you will. This is when you can really define your people's cultural legacy, with each one harkening back to some very recognizable historical counterparts. Which ones you pick shouldn't only be based on vibes though. While you might wish to create large monuments like the Egyptians, the region you're based in might not support that kind of infrastructure at the moment. In fact, you might be better off choosing to go the warfare route, or perhaps you're situated by the sea and can benefit from the legacy of the seafarers. Later on, as society becomes more and more complicated, you'll receive the choice of what kind of state you wish to develop into, with one of the earliest choices being an imperial dynasty versus the kingdom, which in turn opens up a host of various branching options. This entire system ties into the overarching resources of Millennia, not necessarily the ones you get from the ground, but the ones you accumulate over time, namely your domains experience. If you are familiar with Paradox Grand Strategy games, think of domains as monarch points, in that they accumulate over time based on various factors, and can be used to further your nation in various ways quite directly. With engineering experience, for example, you can deepen your connection to your traditional roots. In a playthrough as Rome, I chose the national spirit of the mound builders, since I really wanted to capitalize on their bonus to sanitation, and their 50% price reduction to farming estates could mean the world of difference down the line. However, not every domain experience will be relevant to every spirit, but they must on the other hand correlate with each other. In this case, it's engineering experience that allows you to open up new buffs in the mound builder spirit. But engineering points also let you spend experience on other important buffs that are more common. Other types of experience like this exist as well, like government, exploration, warfare, and diplomacy, all of which demand their own experience points to buy into. This is something I've seen no other civilization like 4X game do, and it's another way that C-Prompt Games takes the Paradox formula into another genre. And I kinda feel like Millennia does for historical 4X what Stellaris does for space 4X. Because the truth is that this is a big deal. Gathering and making use of our different experience points can lead to vastly different and specialized playthroughs. As Rome in this particular playthrough, for example, after going through a crisis where barbarians suddenly flooded my realm, I made use of diplomacy experience to negotiate away at least one of them. At another stage, I essentially converted engineering points into production points, since production is needed to actually raise and improve the various tiles around your cities. In another playthrough, when choosing the military national spirit, it was the warfare experience I had to pay the most attention to. And later on, when you unlock the first actual government tiers, government experience will deepen your opportunities, and you'll have to balance the need for a more modern government with, for example, raising settlers who will found new cities. Since experience is tight, and especially in the beginning ages take a long time to accumulate, it's smart to raid barbarian outposts, since this will offer various options regarding what kind of experience gains you like to see. That brings me to another point. I really enjoy how Millennia deals with both faction development and warfare. Your cities grow and expand in traditional ways, and is determined principally by the amount of food you produce within your borders. But instead of sending workers around the place, it is indeed production points that allow you to cultivate the land. And because of this top-down nature of dealing with things, it feels all the more like an empire builder. Further, settlers actually establish vassal cities, which over time can become incorporated into the main realm, and you can also establish outposts that bring otherwise unreachable resources into your economy. It's really awesome, actually. At the same time, warfare is arguably more gritty than ever. Instead of just having a few cartoony characters hack at each other, we're now shown a tactical simulation of the battle, and there's even an order of battle with automated tactics involved, including a system where range units are protected by melee troops. It honestly kind of reminds me of a visualized version of the Crusader Kings 2 order of battle, which I really like, and it makes every engagement something I look forward to now, compared to other 4X games where battles can end up being a chore. Armies can even be mixed, matched, and expanded upon and improved, meaning you can tailor them for various situations and battlefields. Additionally, as you expand your empire and your cities become larger, you'll find that much more goes into keeping them under control. Sanitation becomes an issue, meaning you'll want to protect yourself against diseases and plagues. Public order must be dealt with, either through better governance or through placing town guards in the city, and sometimes, events will occur that threaten to stabilize or benefit the realm, unless you can mitigate it in other ways, either through a crisis or innovation event. All of these aspects, but especially the national spirits and age mechanics, both of which will force you to wisely spend your domain points in very different ways depending on your playstyle, will mean that every game becomes unique. This is how Millennia manages to bring a new dynamism to the tried and true 4X genre, and I can't wait to see what else is in store here. For this demo, we're only playing until Age 3, namely the Age of Iron, meaning there is so much left to explore here. But you'll be able to check out this exact timeline on February 5th in the free demo during Steam Next Fest, and get a real sense of what this exciting new game is all about. Let me know what you think of Millennia so far and this video in the comments, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Are you excited for more 4X? But with an exciting spin this time? Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much to Paradox for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!